Welcome to Coastline. We're here at Waterfront Park, beautiful location to talk holidays. Captain Erdel with the Beaufort City Police Department. We're talking holiday safety today. And so let's get into it. What do we look for with holiday safety?
So one of the things I encourage people to look out for during the holidays, and they should really do all year, but especially during the holidays, because you're buying a lot of things, you're bringing a lot of presents home, and there's just a lot of activity during the holidays. So basically, if you see something in your neighborhood or when you're out shopping, if it gets your attention and you have the question in your mind, should law enforcement know about this? This seems suspicious. I would encourage people to call. Let that be the default response. I've heard people say in the past that they don't want to bother the police department with something that may turn out to be nothing, but you can't bother us. That's our job, is to come out and check things out. And we would rather come out and it be nothing than somebody to not call and then we miss something that's going on, or have the opportunity to stop something before it happens.
Now, one of the big issues, at least in my neighborhood, was porch pirates. Is there any suggestions you have on people that are having things delivered, say, you get the big box from Amazon?
Right. So obviously, if you can, and have somebody there waiting to get the package, or if you can get signature confirmation, so that if somebody isn't home, they'll keep it at the post office, or you can go to UPS, post office, whatever, and pick up that item. You obviously don't want to leave big ticket items on the porch. And if you do end up finding out that something has been taken, to notify us and let us know so that we can track that. Because if we don't know that there's a problem, we can't combat it. And we have strategies we don't really talk about publicly. We have strategies to combat that kind of thing, but we need to know where those problem areas are. So it's very important to let us know what's going on in the neighborhood. And you can do that a multitude of ways. You can call the dispatcher. You can reach us through Facebook. We're on Nextdoor. So sending us messages through social media, or if you pick up the phone and call, or even if you just see an officer and flag the officer down and say, hey, this is what's going on. It gives us information, and that's the most powerful thing that we can have. So we can't help if we don't know that there's a problem.
So by reporting it, you even help your other neighbors out, because
Absolutely,
obviously.
Yes. And the good thing is, with neighbors on social media like Nextdoor, and you see a lot of times on social media people share images that they might get with a Ring camera or something like that. It helps everybody out if that information is shared. So don't just necessarily share it. It's good to share it with your neighbors, but unless we're in that loop, it's limited, ways to combat that. So let us know what's going on as well, so we can work together with, the neighborhood to get the problem solved.
And staying in the neighborhoods, though, after Christmas, you got all these boxes. You got the big screen TV, you got the shotgun, or whatever. You put it out in the garbage for everybody to see, or would you recommend?
Right. Well, yeah. Obviously, if you can, don't leave, bright indicators out there that, hey, we've got this very expensive piece of equipment, television, guns, whatever it is. You want to try to camouflage that as much as possible. Break the box down, take it to the dump, or yourself if you can, or stuff it in something where it's not visible. You just want to avoid giving away what you've purchased.
Gotcha. Now let's move out of the neighborhood and let's go towards shopping in a store, or shopping at parking lot safety.
So the big thing with safety in parking lots, and really anywhere, when you're shopping, when you're going to the gym, you're out and about, is just awareness. Being aware of your surroundings. If something doesn't look right, then let somebody know, or take whatever action that you think is appropriate to do. If you see something that makes you uncomfortable, don't obviously go and engage in that situation when you're out shopping. Again, and it's kind of the same thing that goes along with your home safety as far as when you're shopping, especially Christmas time. Keep your stuff close to you. Keep an eye on your things. You don't want to, put things out and you leave in your car. Shop one place, go somewhere else, and leave the nice big screen TV in the back of the car if you can help it. If you're going to be getting a big ticket item like that, take it home, secure it, and then go finish your shopping.
Now, once you're in the stores, if you're pushing around, and I actually tell my wife this a lot, purses just left in the shopping buggy while you go off and look at clothes, things like that. It's just common sense.
Right, and it's common sense things, and it's really nothing that, everybody out there can figure these things out. It's not a secret, formula for success when it comes to crime prevention. It's just taking the time to stop and think, what if? So, what if I do this? And when you think about that in the moment, you just take the simple steps to secure your property so that it doesn't get stolen.
And again, at the stores, parking in a populated, well-lit area, such like that. that.
Right. If you can, you park wherever you can. You feel comfortable. It's well lit. Things like that. It's just common sense things that, again, everybody knows, but a lot of people don't necessarily take the time to think about. And the holidays are obviously can be a stressful time. Mm-hmm. You're running around trying to get a lot done. So it's more about just taking that mental break before you engage in whatever it is you're going to do to think about security and safety like that. So, everybody's pretty smart in Beaufort. I think they know what to do. It's just breathe and slow down enough to take the time to think about those things and put them into practice.
Do you run into many holiday scams, telephone scams and such during the holidays?
We do, actually. We've been taking reports recently, and it's kind of a national thing of holiday scams, and not even holiday scams, scams generally on the telephone. And one of the things that, one of the scams that's pretty popular right now is to say, that, hey, maybe a relative has been arrested, or there's some kind of issue where you as the person being called might be arrested if you don't send money through, Green Dot or some other type of, prepaid payment method. Things that, if you stop and you think about it, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. We as a police department would never call somebody and say, hey, we're going to arrest you unless you pay this fine with, some sort of thing that goes through the mail or that you read out over the phone. It just doesn't work like that.
So y'all don't really take bail in Starbucks gift cards?
No, we do not. We do not. And so one of the things that we try to do for the community, that when we hear about things like that, and as we go to Facebook and we get out there on social media and we put out that, hey, listen, this is a scam that's hitting the area. So be aware of this, be aware of this scam. Don't fall for it. If you get a call like this, don't engage with the person, hang up. And so for that reason, I encourage people to follow, not just us, but every law enforcement agency in Beaufort County on social media, because, regardless of where you may live, there may be a trend that starts here in Beaufort, but it's going to work its way to Bluffton and, vice versa. So kind of follow all your public safety social medias so that you can kind of get a heads up on what's going on, so that you're mentally prepared and ready for it if it should happen to you. And so that sometimes people don't know, what should I do? It sounds scary what they're saying. They're threatening to do this, threatening to do that. But if they understand what it is and they know ahead of time, forewarned is forearmed, they can hang up and avoid the problem. And then if that does happen, again, goes back to letting us know so that we know that there's a problem.
And a lot of these tips, we're talking Christmas safety right now, but these are all year round.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, these are good, just general tips to, but you got to be aware during the holidays, because bad guys are like everybody else. When the holidays come, they want more money because they need to buy presents. They got some of the same concerns that we have. And so you will see a spike in activity around the holidays of this nature.
Well, thank you, Captain, for joining us today. We'll be right back with Mayor Keyserling right after this. And welcome back to Coastline. Today we're honored to have Billy Keyserling, Mayor of Beaufort, with us, and we've got to reinvent the holidays. What's going on?
Right. It's sort of exciting. The COVID has really changed the way we live, but you don't want to take people's holidays away from them. You don't want to disrupt the whole world. So like we did with Halloween, where we actually gave out candy in our city parks, our police officers went out and distributed to those who might not get to the parks. We've been looking very seriously at how we keep the spirit up for the holidays, but keep people safe. And so we're reinventing the celebration. We're not reinventing Christmas. We're reinventing this celebration. A parade is just too many people too close together. Night on the town is much fun as much as we look at it, is too many people close together. The Light Up the Night, which has become quite an exciting event and a fun event, is too many people close together. So we thought, what is it we can do to build a spirit and try to do it in a different way? So we will still have First Friday, but the streets won't be closed and it won't be hyped as because we want the merchants to get as much exposure as possible. But the principal change is that rather than bringing people together, we're going to try to be spreading people out. So we're challenging the merchants to decorate their windows like they've never done before, and we'll judge them, and there'll be some sort of a recognition. We're going to the neighborhood associations and saying, you know, let's hit it. Let's do it this year. Let's light it up. We will be adding additional holiday lights around town. And so the idea will be that you don't have to get together to celebrate. You can ride in your car. You can view, as we did as kids, all the holiday decorations. Be a chance, hopefully, for people to vote. They haven't worked out the detail on the best home decoration. It may be by neighborhood, it may be by city, on the best shop decoration, still using First Friday as a modest gathering event. So, you know, people are always askance at change. Some people think we're being overcautious. I don't. We're far from out of this, but we don't stop the world. You know, sometimes, like the 2000 recession and like where we are today with all the division, is a time to step back and say, what do we do as city leaders to keep people interested, to keep people happy, to give them opportunities? And so we think this idea of going around and looking and seeing what and appreciating others doing, explore neighborhoods will be good. Plus the merchants will be challenged with their decorations to bring people here. So, you know, we haven't come out with all the details, but that's the general plan.
So instead of the Christmas parade, you can gather the family in the car. And we used to do this when I was a kid. We'd ride around and look at the lights. And
always. Some
of that family togetherness has been lost in the last few years with all the big events going on. So
Right.
this really gets to kind of make new memories.
And then you create neighborhood clusters where they work together. That brings them together to plan something. You challenge the merchants to come together. So I think we can turn it around and address one of our biggest issues right now is that we don't talk to each other, that we are so divided. So come at it from several different, raise a new bar. It might be something we like forever. It might be a one-time thing. We reinvented with the chamber the shrimp festival, and it wasn't the shrimp festival, but it got people in restaurants who weren't getting into those restaurants. So I'm excited about it, and the cynics will say, oh, humbug, what have you, don't worry about the masks. But I think that the vast majority of the people here have done a great job with masking and social distancing. And this is a way that they don't have to stay home, but as families they can, as you said, get in their cars, go out and learn their city, learn the different neighborhoods. I mean, there'll be neighborhoods in Mossy Oaks that people have maybe never been to, where there's some fantastic Christmas decorations to get hung. Pigeon Point's the same way, the Point in its own way. People get out and learn the personalities of the different neighborhoods, which actually sort of pulls us together and gives us a better understanding. So in the end, I think people will be happy.
So we're going to reinvent the holidays. It's still going to be Christmas. We haven't canceled Christmas.
We have
Billy's
not
canceling Christmas.
By no means.
So, but there's nothing better than these beautiful homes all decorated and seeing them.
Mm-hmm. I think once people who are even the cynics will get in their cars because they're going to be curious.
Absolutely.
And so they will go out and they say, wow, I didn't know Mossy Oaks Road existed. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that Azalea Drive existed. I didn't know that Wilson Drive or Burroughs Avenue or the western part of North Street existed. So this would be a great time to get out and to really explore the community, see the people, if not meet with them, and meet with them with proper etiquette. Absolutely. And I think it has an opportunity in many ways of bringing us closer together and better understanding ourselves than a street party.
Absolutely. So we're reinventing Christmas. Mayor Billy, thank you so much. Billy Keyserling, thanks for joining us on Coastline. We're going to go south of the Broad now. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Coastline. We're talking holidays, but first, let's introduce the new police chief for Bluffton, South Carolina. Chief Price, welcome.
Hello, thank you very much. I appreciate that kind welcome. My name is Stephanie Price, and as you just said, I am new to Bluffton. So.
Absolutely, but you didn't come from far. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I didn't come from far, so I came by way of Savannah, Georgia. I was the assistant police chief over in Savannah, Georgia. So I had that honor, and I did that for roughly about 2 years.
Excellent. Now, what's some of your other past history? You're not from Savannah originally. We were talking in a pre-interview.
I am not from Savannah originally. Originally, I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, in small towns there in Missouri, but most of my policing career I spent in Kansas City, Missouri. So I spent, since 1999, I was a police officer there. So I have about 21 years of experience of law enforcement.
Now, what drew you towards Bluffton?
So what drew me towards Bluffton was the warm, welcoming, engaging environment that's here. It's a culture and a feel that you just don't get everywhere. It's you can't replicate that. It's nothing that you can really describe, but it's really the way the town embraces people, and it's the sense of community.
So have you got a warm welcome so far?
Absolutely, more than a warm welcome. People have fed me, people have greeted me, people stop me in the streets, and I love it. That's exactly what I wanted when I became a police chief. And it's not something every police chief gets the opportunity to have.
Well, you can actually get out in the community here. So.
Absolutely, and you'll see me walking, especially through Farmers Market on Thursday. I know that I love being down at the Farmers Market, but you'll see me down in Old Town Bluffton waving at folks and driving on the golf cart, so you can often find me down there.
So what do you see in store for the future of the police department here?
So the police department at Bluffton, whether folks know it or not, I mean locally they know, but it has a great reputation regionally. Again, that was one of the things that drew me. That and their strong focus on community policing. So Bluffton's far ahead of the curve, as a lot of other agencies in this area are, with their community policing efforts, and also with the thought that we know policing is on the cusp of changing, and the things that we're going to focus on. And those are things like training, leadership, accountability, just really get back to the basic roots of policing and see what we can't do to make it just a tiny bit better.
Y'all are also very, very active literally in the community with everything from the Christmas parade to toy drives and such like that.
Absolutely, we have that going for us. This year we did a reverse Halloween as well, where we dressed up and we went to the kids and gave them little bags of candy to the kids that may not have gotten out to. I mean, with COVID, everyone's a little bit frightened of what's going on, and going house to house may not have been the best way to protect yourself against the pandemic. So what we did was make individually wrapped bags of candy so the kids could still have a little bit of treat. The thing about that was, and it was really great, as soon as they saw us coming, they went and got in their costumes and they met us out there.
That is awesome. It's so nice to see y'all getting involved with the kids.
Absolutely. I mean, children are the best way to get involved with the community. They see police officers as friends here. They see them as something that they can go to when they have problems. And that doesn't exist just anywhere. So Bluffton is a special place, and Bluffton Police Department is a special place as well.
It's really interesting to see. We've done the parade for the last few years, and to see the officers interacting with the kids along the route is just amazing. It's just really a lot of fun.
Many of them have developed relationships with these kids. I know not too long ago, because they had a child that they were interacted with on a call, their whole family actually came here. The father was in the military, came to the police department and brought us cookies and big thank you signs and candies for all the officers. So they really thought that that was a great deal. The officers get a great deal of satisfaction out of that.
Again, welcome to the community. Do you have anything you want to say to the residents of the area?
The residents of the area, thank you very much for the warm, welcoming engagement that I have received so far. And if you see me going down the street, just stop and talk to me, wave and say hi. Let me know what's going on and what you expect from your police department, because we are Bluffton's police department.
Well, Chief Price, thank you again for joining us this morning. If anything we can do for you, just let us know. But we'll be back with Joy Nelson. We're talking about Christmas right here on Coastline. welcome back to Coastline. Joy Nelson, my parade partner for many a year.
Yes.
Well, we're talking holidays.
We are.
And a lot of changes this year, but a lot stays the same.
Exactly.
So when you walked up, Chief and you, I said, well, I hear the parade's canceled. It's not canceled. What's going on with the parade?
It's not canceled. So this year we are doing a reverse parade, which has actually become very popular across the country. A lot of cities have come up with this invention of doing things because of COVID. We are setting up, there are going to be 50 floats like we have had for years in the Christmas parade. Different organizations, different businesses, schools, they can have their floats, but they are going to be a static display along May River Road. And we ask the public to stay in their vehicles and drive past those floats, so they can still enjoy the floats, the quirkiness of Bluffton. We've always joked about that during our Christmas parade.
Absolutely.
We never know who's going to show up during a parade. It's always fun to watch. And you know, there's so many schools, so many organizations, so many dance teams that enjoy building their floats every year. Well, we still want them to be just as creative as they always have been.
That's great.
So we're gonna set up, it's gonna be from the corner of, it's a little bit further down from Calhoun where Nickel Pumpers is, and then all the way down to Pin Oak. And then that's where the floats will be set up. And then people will be able to drive by and enjoy it. It'll be from 10 to noon. So at any time during that 2-hour time period, people can get in their cars and with their family and friends and drive by, so we can all be socially distanced and stay safe.
And it's one way, so you'll be coming from which direction? Do you know that offhand?
I don't know that yet, but yeah, I do.
It will be well marked.
Absolutely, and Bluffton Police will be out there to direct traffic. Town council will be out there. Town employees will be out there. So we wanted to try and do something for the town of Bluffton. So many events have unfortunately been canceled or delayed. So Christmas parade is such a huge part of Bluffton every year. We get about 10,000 people every year for it. So we didn't want to take that away. So we really reinvented it and came up with a new plan.
That's a great plan. And we were talking, we were sort of developed as we were going. We may actually put one of our vehicles to where we can ride through and see the parade and broadcast that. But we're also going to broadcast last year's parade again, so you can see it one more time. But anyway, it sounds like a lot of fun. Now, one thing we did talk about, there's going to be no dropping in a float at the last minute.
That's right. The 50 spots that are available have already been chosen. We can't have anyone that shows up last minute. I know that has occurred in the past. We really ask everyone, we're sorry that you didn't get in one of those 50 spots, but please, just for the safety of everyone, join us next year in 2021. Hopefully we'll have our traditions back and everything will be normal again. So just come out with your family and enjoy the floats that are going to be there.
Well, that's great. I mean, last year it was what, 2.5-hour parade, which was...
It was long. We were up there for a long time.
Yeah, maybe next year we'll go for 4 hours just to make up the difference.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, what else is going on in Bluffton? Talking about, one thing I did notice, we were over at the theater for years watching all the toys come in and everything. Are we still doing the toy drive?
Absolutely. This is the 7th year that the town of Bluffton has had our toy drive. And really, it is so important that people donate an unwrapped toy for any child ages 0 to 15. We get a lot of toys that tend to be, 0 to 5. So we really hope that people can, whether it's clothes or makeup, skateboard, basketball, something for the older kids as well. There's a true need this year from families in our local area that need help. Maybe their parents, maybe both parents were laid off because of COVID. So we really ask people to be generous. Bring an unwrapped toy. We have a box at the Bluffton Police Department. It's out Monday through Thursdays from 8 to 5, and then on Fridays from 8 to 1. So bring the unwrapped toys, drop them in the box. I make sure to bring that box in every night so it'll be safe. but we really ask for everybody to kind of chip in. We are teaming up with Bluffton Self-Help again. They've got their toy shop. People can pre-register, families can pre-register to be part of that, where parents can actually go into this toy shop and pick out gifts for their kids. So it's a great program. Bluffton Self-Help has been a great partner with us. So we thank them for their hard work. But we want everybody to chip in this year.
That is awesome. Now, is there a deadline for getting the toys in? I know they have to prep them.
There is. So we ask everybody that first week in December, if you could, December 10th, 11th, if you guys could have all of your donations in by then we'll put them in a bunch of marked vehicles and take them over to Bluffton Self-Help.
That's awesome. So when you're out doing your Thanksgiving shopping, grab an extra toy or two and drop it by the police department.
And speaking of shopping, a great alternative is we have tons of local shops here in Old Town Bluffton, Calhoun Street, gifts that you wouldn't be able to find anywhere else. If you've got family out of state, great Bluffton gifts that you can buy. So come down and enjoy Old Town Bluffton to get those Christmas gifts and give back to some of these local store owners.
It's a great place to shop. You come down, original art, antiques, the food is amazing. So it's just a great place to come and take a day, take a weekend, come down and shop Bluffton.
Exactly, and something new this year too, November 27th and 28th, there's going to be a Christmas market over in the Southern Barrel parking lot near Station 300. So that's going to be another, local place that people can get local gifts from.
And these unique gifts, I mean, there's nothing like that.
Absolutely. And it's funny, even when I go down there with the purpose of buying something for a family, I always find something for myself that I want to take home and put on display in my own house.
I typically do that myself. Absolutely. I'm going to pick up a drum for your kids, by the way.
Yeah.
But we always talk about that. Yes, I am. Cool. Well, anything else going on? Tree lighting? Are we still doing that? Or what's going on with all that?
Yeah, that's really kind of still in the works. Our old tradition, as you've seen in the past, the tree lighting has been a very large ceremony. We are worried about social distancing. A lot of kids in the area. So there aren't any large plans as of yet for that, but.
And I know you're not with the fire department. Are they still going to run Santa on the truck? Have you?
As I know, Santa will still be on the truck and going through the neighborhoods and waving at the children and saying Happy Holidays and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Always love seeing that. They do such a great job with that. Well, Joy, have I missed anything else?
It's been such a crazy year with COVID. We just want everybody to stay safe. Enjoy the local businesses, but do it with wearing a mask. The mask ordinance is still in place. Wear a mask. Be mindful of social distancing, but still have a good holiday.
A little patience and compassion goes a long way.
Absolutely, perfectly said.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us. This has been our Coastline Holiday Show. Again, thanks everyone for joining us. Have a happy holidays, and we'll see you next time.